Where does our story begin again? Well, when we last left off, of course, the heroes, they had just about to escape the city of Mosru, but before they could enact that, they had one last objective. It was to take and plunder the treasures of my own little goblin area, little treasure area, little area where I keep all my treasures and tidbits, and little trinkets. And yes, they go all over the place, really. But then the trees messed it up, didn't they? They kind of blundered everything all over the bloody place. It's very annoying. Anyway, Tiberius had decided to flee the city of Mosru before Doana. She was the newly anointed high priestess of Mosru, and she ended up catching us a little bit in the act. But before that was to happen, we needed to try and plunder my wares. Freya, Amarin, unfortunately, and her bodyguard were not there to help plunder. They had escaped moments before into the forest to meet up with us later. And Marcus, Faden, and Bendis, they all followed me to the basement of my home. And normally this story would take a turn for the worst, but it doesn't, actually. We were trying to find, as I mentioned before, my hidden treasures and whatnot, all from my many adventures. We were rifling through the piles of junk, and we found a few mysterious and hopefully quite useful artifacts in the meantime, stashing them away for our journey into the north. Bendis found a curious little trophy, a little chaplet, a rave of elm and honeysuckle, only given to masters of romantic poetry. Even as the guards in the streets above were about to come around, surround us, and take us away, I found something of great importance. The broken pieces of an ancient staff, one of my finest relics that unfortunately was broken in battle, taken from a rival wizard long ago. Powerful tool of magic. And of course a page from a wizard's journal detailing important details. I didn't share the contents of the page with my compatriots, of course, but after realizing it, I realized that, well, we gotta go to the source of all of this business. I know exactly what it means. Faden tried to cover our escape, but Tiberius managed to convince the companions to stop running and face the judgment of Mosru. You know, Mosru is a city that I've saved once before. I'm sure with my charisma I would be able to convince the newly appointed priestess that this is all just one big misunderstanding, you know? Just let us go and we will find the culprits and bring them back. So that's exactly what I did. Enduana, furious that her ceremony had been ruined and eager to pin this disaster on someone, demanded answers. And I explained that though I had not caused this catastrophe, a powerful source of the wild fey magic far from the north reached out, latched onto me, used me as a conduit, and kind of messed the place up. So it was maybe, you could maybe spin it to be my fault, but not really. It was never intentional. Just part of the package deal, baby. It's what you get when you mess with Tiberius. You know what I mean? Built like a brick house made of poo. Anyway, at her insistence, I swore by the 5 rivers of the underworld and the adamant gates to undo the terrible magic that has persuaded. Listen, the commonalities are not important. The point is, I, Tiberius, I'm a doer. I get stuff done, and I swore on quite a serious vow, something that I'm going to be real with you, you can't really break it. However, solemnly we set forth as the party, using the magic of the folding boat, which we found also in the ruins. But not before employing a bit of Tiberius' signature cunning to make one last pass at the old stash, if you know what I mean. I need to go to the bathroom, Marcus.
What? He says he needs to go to the bathroom. Can you let it? Can we get a bit of privacy?
Right,
Can we get a bit of privacy? Let the man piss one
You
more time.
pee in the canal.
I can go in the alleyway if they won't stop me.
Seems different though.
I'm sure that'll be fine, right, lads?
Yeah,
No one
be
knows.
quick about it. About face.
Block my way, Marcus. Block my way. I'm going to take out the pixie powder and snort the rest of it.
Okay. Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, God.
As your old heart kicks up several.
Amazing.
You start to get cracked out on pixie dust.
Come on, bro.
That's a 3.
Oh my goodness.
Now, unfortunately for Tiberius, the old body couldn't quite handle the pixie dust like it used to. And, I took a turn for a worst in an alleyway. Not really the way I wanted to go out.
But there's a sharp pain in your chest, and you think your left arm might be going a little bit numb.
Oh no.
Marcus, I'm going to go find some more artifacts. I'll be right back.
Tiberius, what have you got?
I'm going to go find some more artifacts. I'll be right back.
What have you got?
I'm going to make a run for my hovel, my home.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
You have acquired 1 level of exhaustion as you undergo a slow motion heart attack.
Oh boy.
Well, invisible.
I'm gonna.
Where's my home? Phaedon found a curious trinket from her homeland, an amulet of coral containing a hypnotizing and sinister ink. I barely made it back to safety before collapsing, and it was up to Bendis and the rest to save me from this drug-induced heart attack. As we set off along with my party, Arya, an old family friend, warned us. The assassins who tried to claim my life spoke of Hotan, the warlord that I defeated 20 years ago. And if Hotan had truly returned, she would not rest until she has had her revenge on me. Now, the forest that has consumed Mosru has extended as far as the eye could see, and as we traveled north upriver rowing against the current, it was a very difficult, arduous journey. And we stopped for the night along the river edge, none of them truly prepared for the strange environment. The sounds of beasts and birds from distant lands echoing in the canopy as the sun vanished down into the leaves. After foraging a bit for food and settling in for the night, Marcus, Tiberius Wonderstave, drifted off to an uneasy sleep.
As you settle in for the night and your weary arms rest and the Triton is on watch, your dreams are uneasy. It's been a very eventful day. In your dreams, you see Tiberius, your father, walking down the streets of Mosru, the same streets you've walked since you were a young child. There are no trees anywhere, but beneath your feet and under your hands you can feel the rocks themselves are filled with tiny fibrous roots just waiting to burst out. Tiberius does not look right or well. He's halting. His gait is messy, shambling. His expression is a snarl, a primal grimace. There's a small child holding his hand, bouncing around as he nearly drags them, moving so fast. They're sort of just limp behind him. The child, the young girl, her expression is vague and drooling and unfocused, interested in everything but looking at nothing, glassy, passing you by as you stand and watch your father with this young girl. Tiberius doesn't seem slowed at all by the child's weight. Now there is no child in Tiberius's hand. Only a small hand and a slender wrist dripping blood with a bone jutting out at the end of it.
Marcus woke with a start and took up his watch for the night, but the horrors seemed to follow him from dream to waking. Fire and brimstone was on the air, the glow in the distance of this city burning. Hooves heard in the distance. Marcus was beset with a fowlery on the air.
Do you hear that?
Yeah. What? Oh, who's?
Hoofbeats.
What?
Smoke. The humus. Presumably.
The homeless?
Presumably, we
The
hear this
homeless.
as well.
So the people in Mosru may well be homeless.
Boat appears.
We can't take the boat. It's.
What the bloody hell you mean we can't take the boat?
I suppose we can, but it's
I mean, the
slow
horses
going.
can't chase us on the water.
The hoofbeats get louder, and there's a horrifying whinny. It doesn't sound like any earthly horse. It sounds like a screech, a shriek, and as it emits, you see a plume of flames.
Into the boat. We must move.
A supernatural wind channels into the sails and you start to weave through the trees jutting through the water, you can see a single rider racing through the woods, weaving along the riverbed towards you, keeping pace, catching up. The hooves of the horse and its mane are flames, striking the ground as it goes, and its eyes of this horse are burning coals, and it snarls and shrieks, and on its back is a figure clad in black iron armor. The thundering rider is moving at incredible speed, and as they run, the horse leaps into the air, and its hooves leave flaming hoofprints in the air itself as it rides over the river and gains on you rapidly.
It's now on the other side of the river.
No, it's floating over the river. Running through the air, leaving hoofprints floating in the air.
That's not normal.
Charging behind the ship, gaining on you rapidly. The nightmare reaches out with its hooves and strikes at Faden.
Oh dear.
The figure on the horse will raise its sword and snarl something in an unholy language, and sickly green light flows along it as it lashes down to strike you at the
Me?
oar. Yeah.
I'm just steering the boat.
And for its third attack, it's going to attack Faden. Does a 24 hit? All right, you take 9 points
boy.
of slashing damage.
I'm down.
Okay. With wild fury, the nightmare rears back and strikes you with its hooves. A 19.
Oh boy.
You take 13 points of bludgeoning damage and 7 points of fire damage.
I do?
Yes.
Does this mean I'm dead?
Yeah. It strikes Bendis's corpse, collapses into the river, and flows downstream, smoldering.
No, not Bendy boy! Remember me! Bendy boy! Witness
The rider
me!
cares nothing for this moment. Plows past you. And so the rider turns and just unleashes 3 strikes of its terrible iron sword. And as it does so, it invokes terrible magic. You take 13 points of radiant damage,
Okay.
and you're blind.
And I'm blind.
You're blind.
Okay. Wonderful.
It could be worse, all right?
Are you still up?
I am on 1 HP.
Okay.
It's my turn.
1 HP.
Fantastic.
And a dream.
I'm gonna cast the booming blade.
All right. Is that a natural one?
It's a crit fail.
Okay. You hear a wet splat. Faden, suffer a failure
Oh, come on!
as he strikes you.
That's a crit fail.
Nobody
that's
knows
a
what's happened to
one.
Faden because the water is dark and the night is also dark.
She's dead.
And full of terrors.
Oh my god.
Your turn. Roll a d20.
Faden.
The world falls out from under your feet.
Yeah.
You are blind and now you're underwater. You feel cold iron fingers wrap around your throat as you rise coughing into the air. And your eyes clear. And you see the rider on the horse staring at you, wild-eyed. She tears off her helmet. Her eyes are bloodshot and frantic. Her flesh is withered into her face. Her black hair is stringy, and there's bags under her eyes of utter, maddening exhaustion. And as she chokes you with this hand of living iron, she says, "Awaken me." And you wake up.
What?
Second!
What the?
A second?
To Bendis shaking you, hey, it's your watch. Are you all right?
That's me shaking him.
Oh yeah, I had to order backwards.
Seriously?
And so that is where our chapter ends. Our party is left in the wilderness, seeking Dotane's rock, freaking out over some pretty gnarly dreams, dude.